This episode of Grilled is sponsored by Rationale, your leading provider in multifunctional hot food preparation equipment. Register now for a free Rationale live demo at www.rationale-online.com.
The Staff Canteen now has its own shop, so you can get your hands on as much merch as you want. From mugs, t-shirts to these hoodies, which you'll see myself and any of the guests on our podcast wearing throughout. Go and take a look. The link is below, and please do give us a thumbs up if you do decide to purchase anything. Finally, we are giving away one hoodie per episode for the next 6 episodes. You can find out how to win at the end of this podcast.
Thank you for listening to Grilled, the Staff Canteen podcast. Cara has asked me to let everybody know that these podcasts may contain some swearing, some explicit language, and some topics not for the faint-hearted. No offence is intended, and please listen at your own discretion.
Welcome to Grilled.
I want to eat under roast whenever I want to eat under roast, not when you want me to eat it.
I just remember Brad's smell of his beard. You just had a biggest, fluffiest beard, and I was like, God, he smells so good. I don't know why, it's weird. Sometimes you put smell or something to it, and I just remember that. Well, it's a bit bizarre.
Why are you in your chef's white, Anna? You're working.
I'm cooking burgers.
Oh, burgers. I hope they're not McDonald's.
And I just lash it all over the hot toast as it melts and quickly munch it up, crunchy, crunchy, munchy.
Dying to get like a piece of your culinary penis in or around their mouth.
Welcome to Grilled, a podcast by the Staff Canteen. I'm Cara, editor of the Staff Canteen, and this is the final episode in the series with Alex Claridge. If you haven't missed any so far, they are all available wherever you get your podcasts, and also some of the other series that we have done as part of this year. You can listen to those as well. Alex, you made it. It's episode 6.
It's almost over. We can get on with our life and move past this ordeal.
What's been your highlight?
So few to choose from. For me, it has to be the icebreaker questions, because they've always really cut to the heart of the issue.
Yeah.
Or when you try to ask me what the worst thing I've ordered from Amazon is, and the whole podcast fell apart. Last time.
Still yet to find out what that is.
I'm still keeping stum. I'm not revealing the worst thing I've ever ordered from Amazon.
Tom looked confused. So basically I asked him that, and he was in his restaurant, and the entire team just burst out laughing. So
many things went through my head then.
I have Amazon Prime and a busy mind, Cara.
That's dangerous. Right. We've seen him already, but please introduce our guest today, Alex.
Oh God, look, it's Tom. Look, the main thing I wanted to do when we did the outline for this little collection of podcasts was to hear new voices, I guess, hear people who are doing things differently, ask a lot of questions in a positive way about where hospitality is going. We've just come off an absolute belter of a couple of years, which will have changed the industry forever. So I think it is fitting to speak to Tom, who, don't worry, mate, we're going to avoid every cliche. Like, I've read the interviews you get subjected to from gentrified publications, we'll avoid them. But I think the point remains that it takes a particular individual, right, to take something that's so steeped in tradition and decide to kind of fuck with it, to want to kind of, bring something new to the table in a setting that I think would have been so easy to just not, right? That's
very kind, thank you. Yeah, very kind.
No,
he sounds good, doesn't he? I could listen to him all day. He's quite a good talker.
So yeah, this isn't going to be about, oh, Tom, you're the youngest chef in history. We're not going to do that because it's a really boring fucking question.
Just removing questions off of my list. No, I'm joking.
To be honest, they're the only questions I can answer. That's what I've only been doing that for the past 3 years, so I don't really know what. Don't ask me anything else.
We're going to find some new sound bites about you, mate. And in all seriousness, kind of get an insight of, cooking in London is a totally different world really from cooking in the regions. We've just found micro herbs. It's gonna be amazing. You know, I wanted to hear, how you're doing that, like, you know, your approach to it, the challenges, and really just any good gossip about hotel guests.
Cara's got all the good gossip, to be honest. She knows everything.
And on that note, Tom Booton, welcome to Grilled. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. No, thank you very much for having me, guys. Thank you.
No, it's a pleasure. Looking forward to it. Right, icebreaker questions. It's the final time, Alex, so I'm expecting some good things from you this time.
I'm actually nervous about these.
Don't be nervous.
I'm trying to think what I bought from Amazon last time.
I'll ask a question based on the number that you pick. So I've got numbers 1 to 6. So just give me a number between 1 and 6. I will give you the question associated with that number. You can go first, Tom. Off you go.
Number 3, right down the middle.
Have you ever had any cosmetic work done?
No. Look at the state of me. I am from Essex, so maybe one day, yeah.
What would you have if you could?
No, really. Bit of a round face, I guess, maybe. Got quite a big nose. Maybe I may have a smaller nose. I don't know. Never really thought about it.
Alex?
Don't, because it's a rabbit hole. I genuinely went down that rabbit hole on Sunday. I spent 3 hours, on my day off, looking at cosmetic surgery. Over lockdown, when I quit sleeping, I have different size eyes now. So one of my eyes is like, I don't know, doing this thing where it's a different shape. So I started looking at, can I get my eyes fixed? By the end of it, I was there, like maybe a bit of filler here. You know, maybe I could kind of get a bit of Botox. So genuinely, I mean, I'm not doing it. I need to be clear on record. It was a fleeting 3 hours of research. But look, I'll make a pact. I won't get anything done if Tom doesn't. If he does, I'll get my boobs done.
We'll see him in 6 months and we'll be like, is that Alex?
Yeah.
He looks younger, but worse.
Right, we can't stay on this topic forever. Pick a number between 1 and 6.
5, please.
Oh, name your favourite restaurant and why it is your favourite restaurant.
I mean, that's changeable, isn't it? At the moment, I'm Team Silo. I was down there a couple of weeks ago. I took a day off, went down to Silo, and I just think it's banging. I think, you know, the first time I went, the starkness, the simplicity of what they'll put up. Like their second course is they're still serving just an onion with like a fish garum from like 2017, 2018. You look at it, and even as a chef, you look at it and go, "That's brave." There is literally nowhere to hide on this plate. And then you get into it, and you're just like, "Fuck me," you know, with basically very little protein, very little kind of, you know, I'm sure Tom will know what I mean when I say very little chef hacks. You know, the hidden dishes where you're like, fuck it, people will love this because it's, you know, it's a crowd pleaser. Like they've got none of that. They've got none of that, and they're turning out food that I just think's got such complexity, depth of flavour, really clearly defined. I love. I mean, I'm sure Tom will be able to talk a bit about this. I know you've got this in your restaurant, but I love counter dining anyway. I love that as a setup. And whenever I go to Hackney, I feel like 1.5% cooler than before. It is hard because I have to wear pointy boots and skinny jeans, so I can't walk, and you know, my legs hurt afterward. But it is worth it for Silo. I do enjoy it.
Tom, have you been to Silo?
No, I haven't. I met him at the Restaurant Awards a few weeks ago, and but I knew about him and his food, and like Alex said, it's original. It's like, for me, it sounds like when I went to a koi a few weeks ago, me and my girlfriend, and I said to Rachel, I said, like, it's going to sound really bad because I don't do this, but I said to Rachel, I could even copy this if I wanted to, because I just found it so unique. Do you know, she looked at me, she's like, what do you mean copy? I was like, well, I don't copy anyone anyway, but like, even if I wanted to, I couldn't even, in my young, dumb chef head, I couldn't even break it down and work out how he done it. I just thought it was really unique and original, and sounds similar, really.
I mean, that's as a chef, that's the holy grail. Like, there's restaurants I go to because I know it's just delicious.
Yeah.
And I've got so much time for that because on my days off, to be honest, that's what I want. But sometimes when you go somewhere and like, you know, even when they're, you know, even when you're discussing with the guys like how they've done it, you're there like, yeah, but how have you done it?
Yeah.
Like, you know, when the flavor surpasses just the ingredients that have gone into it, for me, that's kind of, you know, I don't know, those little moments where you really think like, this is genius, you know, this is like firmly good. And like, there's so many moments through that, you know, through the meal at Sino. I've eaten there, 3 times in the last year or so. And, you know, honestly, every time I'm kind of like, we've topped out here, lads. It's not going to get, you know,
any better.
It's not going to get any better, any more surprising. You know, their dessert. I'll stop. Like, I haven't been paid for this, by the way. Like, don't you do a great deal? But you know, like, their dessert. You know, pumpkin seed ice cream with fig leaf and like furikake. I'm like, there's zero way that on paper that just jumps out at you, and then you eat it and you go, fuck, this is beautifully balanced. This is complex. Mouthfeel, the works. Yeah, I bow down. I mean, you know, as I say, I don't believe in not changing that answer, but I'm still genuinely in awe at what they achieved there.
Okay, brilliant.
Surprisingly heartfelt, that one, to be fair, Cara.
Actually, I was thinking that's probably the most chefy I've ever heard you.
Don't worry, let's get back to my cosmetic surgery.
Right, Tom, between 1 and 6, please.
I'll start number 1 then.
If you weren't a chef, what would you like to think that you would be doing instead?
I must probably still be doing my paper round when I was 13. I don't know. To be honest, I'm the biggest mug really, because I started at like 14. I've never done anything else, so I don't know. I think nowadays I think to myself, shit, maybe I messed up here. All I've done is spend 14 years in kitchens. So I don't know what I would do. Maybe just sit in a pub all day. Be quite nice.
Perfect.
An alcoholic, yeah. To just take the chefing out, it's the same. I don't know. I've been asked that before. I don't know. I don't know really. That's sad, isn't it?
It's not sad. Obviously, that's what you wanted to do. That's what you're doing. I just, you know, if there's anything in the world you could do, and you chose to be an alcoholic.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, before we go any further into that, Alex, give me a number.
Number 2, please.
What's your most annoying habit? I feel like you've got many.
Don't know where that's coming from. I don't know. I think I'm quite obsessive about a lot of things, and I have to have things in a particular way. And I think whether it's my other half, like Rach, or whether it's anyone at work, I think it permeates into kind of a lot. Like sometimes I'm really sensitive to sound, and I can't deal with the sounds. Like in a restaurant, sometimes they'll be playing like hip hop or disco or whatever they're playing during mise en, and I'll kind of just be like, nope, I can't do that. I have to have this music at this volume. You know, I have to have things exactly how I want. Otherwise, I sort of, otherwise I can't really deal with it. So I think it's probably that I'll just go around my life, and all those who are unfortunate enough to have to either work with me, live with me, or a combination thereof, like it does have to sort of be the way I want it. Otherwise I get really freaked out. I'm working on it, but I think it's getting worse, like the older I get. And I think it'll work. I think lockdown, all seriousness, I think lockdown made it so much worse, because all that time of sort of peace and quiet and isolation, in some ways, like it's even more like entrenched in me, like my particular habits. Like if I lock the door, I have to check the door a certain number of times. You know, if I'm labeling, it has to be in a particular format. Like I have to have the right size lettering, and I don't know, like I'm way more obsessive than I wish I was, or is probably evident. But I have a very particular way of doing things, and if they're wrong, like I can't let it go. I know it's really, really weird, but you know, everyone's weird, everyone's different. It's just, like if things aren't right, it's like nails on a chalkboard. Like I get it really badly with like design. Like our poor design team who work with me, like if a font's wrong or I don't like the colors or I think like the print quality is wrong, like for me it sounds like nails on a blackboard, and I won't let it go. Like I'll be on Slack messaging at 4 a.m. going, I've been up all night, that font's wrong, I don't like the contour on that letter. Like everything has to be.
Are you a clean freak also? OCD or just like control?
Oh, I don't know, Tom. I think I'm really a smorgasbord of disorders.
Nice.
You know, I sort of feel like, I don't know, I feel like everyone's a bit of a mix of things, but I'm very aware that existing in a world where I have a totally unseen system of order that I want, that no one else could possibly be privy to the stuff that bothers me, it's dead annoying. But I think you just have to own it and just be like, look, I know I'm unusual, but this is how I like things. This is the reason, you know. Or you just learn to bite your tongue and, you know, slowly erode what's left of your sanity. But yeah.
I'm wondering how you deal with that having a child, because they do not conform.
Well, it's a fun journey, that. Her favourite word is no.
Like, I feel like she'd love to mess up all of your labelling, put everything in the wrong order.
Well, like she's a bit older, I get to have her more. So I don't have her all the time. And she's just total chaos. Like everything's no. She keeps stealing my necklace, but she has to wear it on the wrong way around, and that bothers me because the clasp has to be at the back, otherwise I don't like it. So maybe between her and you know, Theodore, my dog, like maybe they're gonna kind of cure it. But no, just very particular, and I don't feel like it's justifiable or fair, but I've always been that way. So
okay.
It's a bit early, isn't it, for 9 o'clock in the morning? I feel like that was a bit therapist.
Yeah.
It was good. What do you think I should do? Have you got any coping?
Yeah, I don't know really. I was listening to you like, yeah, maybe I've got that trait, maybe I don't have that trait. That's interesting. I'll tell you what I was thinking. Have you got like were your parents in the army or something? Your parents must have had like really.
No. I'm just weird. It just happened.
Okay. Yeah.
Next question.
Right, Tom. I've got 4 or 6 left.
6 then.
Are you good at accents? And what's the best one that you can do? Let's hear it. Come on.
No, I'm terrible. All the guys in the kitchen, all the boys and the girls laugh at me, so I try and do it all the time. But because Adam, my sous chef's Irish, and he's like amazing at accents. I mean, like he can do anyone. You only have to say like 2 words to him, and he can mimic anyone. He's so good at it. So I think during service, I get a bit pumped up and think I can do it as well, and then they just all laugh at me.
I want to hear your Irish accent now. No,
I can't. I think it's more Jamaican when I do it.
I mean, that's a significant misstep globally.
Yeah. No, yeah, I know. I don't get outside the M25 very often, so. No, I'm really bad at it, but Adam's like super amazing at it. I don't know how, like I love it.
Yeah, I'm no good at accents either, so I'm not going to keep pushing you on that one.
No, don't. It's not worth it.
Just delegate. That can be your sous chef's key job.
Yeah. It's on his job description. Make sure everyone's set for service and can continue with the accents.
You'll go far. Right, final question. Alex, what is the most interesting thing you have read or seen this week?
Oh, that was good. Yeah, I did. Sorry, that was a stream of consciousness, wasn't it? I watched a film called Boy by a director whose name I always forget, but he did Jojo Rabbit or whatever, which was really cool, really interesting. It was like set in New Zealand, and it was about like a little lad whose mum died during childbirth for his brother. And I'm not going to ruin it. Basically, it was just really interesting. Like I love the way he makes films. They have this innocence, but they're always kind of almost like really folky. Like the plot doesn't really go anywhere. There's no resolution, which does bother me. I think films should have a clear start and an end, but as discussed, we're working on it. So that was really good, actually. I enjoyed that very much.
Okay, one to watch?
Sure, why not? Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, why
Okay.
watch a film when you could watch Staff Canteen's grilled podcasts available?
Right, well done. Thank you for that. That was really good fun. So let's talk about you, Tom. Alex, I'm going to let you go in first, so I don't ask any cliche questions.
So, look, as previously discussed, I think with grace and friendliness, you've probably handled every question under the sun around, all the obvious ones. You're quite young to be a head chef. I mean, you've done it for 14 years. Like, as you get to a certain point where it's sort of like, well, age is nothing to do with it. And even just, cooking in like a traditional hotel. Yeah, I think we can do better than that. So how have you actually found the journey being there? Obviously you got to work, I suppose, in a similar environment with kind of Alan. How have you found it? What have the highlights been? What have the lowlights been of it? The chandelier, I imagine, has been a constant source of trauma.
Yeah.
What even is it? Is it meant to be antlers? Is it coral? Is it the bones of the previous kitchen brigade? What's occurring there?
It's meant to be a fire. So it's meant to represent fire. But it was put in before me. It was one of the only things I couldn't change. But it's got something like, it's got 220 light bulbs in it.
Fabulous. It's like Uncle, it's like something from the Addams Family.
I'm not allowed to say what I think about it on record because I get in major trouble, but I'm sure you've gathered.
Okay, cut this back into the edit. I love that light and everything about it. Okay, cool. So obviously you've done all this. You've kind of been shut down through, bloody pandemic. You've had all the hassle that all of us have had.
Yeah.
What's the highlight? What's the low light? Let's start with that and then we'll get freaky.
It kind of just happened very naturally and organically, to be honest. The general manager came to eat at Alan's. It wasn't on the hunt or anything, and just liked the food, and I went out and saw him, and because I think Alan was off that day, so I just chatted to him like you do, kitchen tour. And then they kind of got in touch via that, and then it kind of took a good 8 months to a year to get it kind of how I saw it. To be honest, I didn't want to leave. I was very happy at Alan's. I was head chef. We had a star, 4 rosettes. I took that job when I was 24. I think I was 26 by the time they kind of approached me. So I was super happy, but then this kind of got interesting, and the hotel have been absolutely amazing with me because they never questioned me about my age or anything like that. It's just everyone else. But inside the hotel, they were like, what do you want to do? Do you know what I mean? They always say to me, it's your restaurant, do what you want to do with it, kind of thing, which is an amazing opportunity for me. And I'm very grateful for that, because I'm sure when I get older, I'll look back at that. So so we just literally ripped it up, started again.
What was the elevator pitch? Because I always think that's interesting. Like, restaurants, in my experience, but I think many others, you have what you think the restaurant will be. And then, the weird ecosystem of your team and your customers and a million and one different things. It sort of just emerges.
Yeah.
I was really interested. Like, I look back sometimes on when I first started this and, I had my business plans and, all the rest of it. All of them just said, lose as much money as possible. And we've achieved fantastic things. But I look back at the elevator pitch, for lack of a better word, how I was trying to describe what my vision was for it. And I look at it and I kind of go, what an arsehole you were. Like, that doesn't reflect at all what you want to do now. But I'm really intrigued. Like, what was the elevator pitch? Like, they go, oh, would you like to come and do this? What was it you sold them on?
They were very, to give them they won't get upset with me saying this, but they were just they just wanted to bring a chef in, keep the same yellow tablecloths, keep the old branding, just literally not spend money on it, and just bring someone in and make them cook the same menu. And it was very, I think they kind of managed the menu and what they wanted on it. And they used to have yellow tablecloths in here, which, have you ever seen a yellow tablecloth? It's very bizarre.
I've seen white ones that have gone a bit yellow, but
no, these were yellow on purpose. Yeah, very strange. And they had these napkins, and these napkins at the table were like the size of pillowcases, and they were yellow. It was the most oddest thing I ever seen, really. So so we just walked in here, and then I kind of said no to the job a few times, and then they said, "What do you want to do?" So we just kind of put it all together, and we redesigned the restaurant, brought my team in, put the pudding bar in, which I'm sitting on at the moment. So that was like the first idea I had, because it's a very square room, if you can see. So we had to like buy some banquettes, get them designed, kind of break up the room. Bought the Mr. Whippy machine, which they all thought, they must have thought I was mad, actually, to be honest, because I remember saying, on this section here, we can put a pudding bar there, and then we can put an ice cream machine. And they were like, an ice cream machine? We're in the Dorchester. And I was like, tell me what your favorite ice cream is. And this was to the general manager, that he's like the chief exec. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, tell me what your favorite ice cream is, as a kid or now. And he said, well, I really like Mr. Whippy and I like a McFlurry. And I said, that's your answer. For me, the best ice cream you can get is a McFlurry.
That in itself is the story that needs to be told. Like, the general manager of the Dorchester, one of London's most iconic hotels, and his favourite ice cream is a McFlurry.
You've got to love a McFlurry, though. The consistency and the texture, I don't know. I just think they're amazing. And these cup of jelly machines are just second to none. If I didn't buy that, our pastry team would be going down hard every day. That's the only thing we sell.
With due respect, I think that those guys, like, between them and PacoJet, they're in a conspiracy to constantly keep chefs absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, when I first started the restaurant, if I wanted to make ice cream, I had to get ice and just whisk it really hard and hope for the best. I couldn't afford literally.
Yeah.
And then, we made a bit of cash, finally got a PacoJet, and you're like, yes, I've done it. And then
it broke.
When I was in the Great British Menu Kitchen, you walk in and they've got a carpaccio, and you're like, bollocks, I need another one.
Yeah.
Like, why can't they just create one ice cream machine that does everything? Why does capitalism exist, Tom? And there's always a better machine that you want for different reasons. I'm very jealous. Your soft serves look so cool. Like, I love the concept. Like the one you've got at the moment, like that's a bit of me.
Yeah, the coffee and cream.
I do terrible things to that ice cream.
Yeah, no, it's really. I reckon it's the best one we've done, actually. I think it's number 10 since we've been open, but I think the coffee and cream is most of my favourite. It's really.
I love what I think is so smart, and I love is that you didn't sell them by kind of being like, well, we can make soft serve ice cream. Your cost is going to be this. This is the margin you make. This is. I love that you sold them on, like, I don't want to say tricking them, but like making it personal. Like, that is amazing. Just turning around to someone, and going, don't argue with me. Talk to me about your favourite childhood ice cream.
Yeah.
Because they were screwed at that point. They were buying.
Yeah, they were. Everyone likes a flake 99. They're just not 99p anymore, so.
£4.60, and if you want a flake, it's extra. Like. the interior design, because I'm just going to say, if anyone on the call wants to take the piss out of me at this point, like, just let's not do it. Just anyone on the call who might do that, but. One of the things I've really enjoyed over like the last couple of years has been getting much more heavily involved in design.
Yeah.
We designed our own chairs over lockdown, and like I loved that. I loved designing a chair, much more than I thought I would. Right? Like when like 5 years ago, she'd be like, "Oh, you're going to really get a kick out of designing a chair." I'd be like, "Oh," and then should I just shuffle off into sort of like retirement? Maybe read the paper, but I really enjoyed it. Was this the first time you've got to do kind of the interiors in a restaurant? I guess?
Yeah, completely, really. They were, I've just always been stuck in the kitchens, you know what I mean? Working for someone else's name. So to be able to, they literally just said, there you go, like, what do you want to do? So I had to put together a kind of a business plan, but it wasn't a business plan. It was just scraps of ideas and numbers on a bit of paper and what we could do, what we might not be able to do. And then, so then we've got design companies in, and obviously you have to make sure everything is still on brand. And then the big thing for us is I really wanted to rebrand the restaurant and reposition it. So that was the big one, because so we've got our own Instagram, for instance. That was a big one because we're the only restaurant inside the collection over the world that has its own Instagram. It's always tricky working in hotels because you have so many suits above you and so many people and so many ideas, and especially in hotels like the Dorchester, we employ 600 staff. So to get through to them final 15, it normally takes, there has to be a lot of meetings, a lot of coffees, should we have a coffee and a chat? That's my favorite saying. Neil's laughing at me now because I say it's the Dorchester saying, should we have a coffee and a chat? But yeah, we got heavily involved. We got an in-house florist as well. So I got him to kind of help us do it. We did make it a team effort.
Do you feel that actually getting to be more holistic over the restaurant in turn kind of informed your food? I suppose that let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds really exciting because I think like there's thinking purely around what you want on the menu.
Yeah.
But for me, actually, when the whole thing started to elevate and I started to enjoy more, and I think build better teams, was when I started to really kind of go, well, the experience, and when I started to kind of feel like I had more agency and more kind of understanding of everything else, like how comfortable is the seat, how long will the menu take, you know, how do all these design touches inform the way guests respond to a menu? Because for sure, like, you know, I think hotels are definitely the case. You walk in and like it is to a point, the grandeur and the size of it, that elicits an emotional reaction that's already sort of like, if you will, it's a psychological amuse-bouche, you know, because I do think there's something to be said for that. Like, people, I think oftentimes the mood they're in before the food hits the table kind of informs how they're going to respond to flavor, right?
No, definitely. Well, we're lucky here because you walk into the hotel and it's so grand, and there's amazing departments in the hotel, and everyone gets a big welcome. When you come to the hostess stand here, like, you get a big welcome and everything. It's funny because yesterday I sent all the older chefs. I sent all the older chefs home yesterday, and it was just me and all the young guys. It was quite nice actually, because so we had like all on different sections, and we were talking. And I've been so amazing here because I brought all the team in. So there's only one chef which was here before me in the old grill, and we were just talking about like the first menu. Do you ever look back at your old food and think, oh God, what were we doing there? Like, wow, shit. And we were just laughing about what we did, and we were saying about how much better it is now. But like you're saying, when you get that amazing team around you, and I'm super lucky, I'm nothing without them, and they do everything. Now at the moment, he reminds me of me, like when I went back to Alan's. You just get so creative when you become a sous chef or a head chef, and you're actually able to do stuff even more. You become so creative, and Adam's just on a roll at the moment. And then I'm letting the other boys and girls as well get involved. So team for me is everything, and front of house, they're amazing, you know.
I think that's been one of the kind of repeat things, you know, other than Eddie, who we spoke to last week, and it's just does it in his own home. So he avoids perhaps some of the same challenge. Everyone's saying the same, that there's a real appreciation for team. And I guess there's also a concern over sort of like fresh blood coming in. You know, I mean, I have to say, like, we're doing okay. Like we've just hired another lad who's joining us, moved down from Manchester, and we've been okay for hiring, but you know, I know that that's not the case. So I think team's kind of like the most precious commodity. It always has been.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's framed differently. How have you found it in terms of like hiring, or did you have to hire?
To be honest, I didn't have to hire. So I've got 12 chefs, including me. And I don't know, we're just a like dysfunctional kind of family. So Adam, Josh, Freddie, Charlie, so 4 of them were with me at the Westbury. And then Adam left and went to the Hand and Flowers for 2 years. And then when Adam joined, he brought one of the Big John from her Hand as well. But for this, I only realised this yesterday. So I've got a team of 12, including me, but 6 of them basically live together. There's a group of 3, and then a group of 2. So basically, they all live with each other, which I'm hoping none of them here now. So I'm hoping they stay for a long time, because they all live with each other. They all party together. They all get up to trouble together. But I don't know, we have a really nice, and that's my most important thing now, especially being here. I have to be a manager, you know. We've got a HR department of 15 people here. We've got a HR department in the collection of 30 people. If we slip up, or if I slip up majorly, do you know what I mean? That could cost my job. So it's super important that I keep my team tight and solid, and front of house as well. So no, I'm super lucky. I just got to keep them interested, you know. If they want to listen to a bit of music in the morning, all the stuff I always say to the guys and girls now, like, you have to work with chefs, the good ones and the bad ones, because you need to learn. Like, I look at every single head chef I've had, which is only 5 actually, but there's great things I've taken from all of them, and then there's the bad things as well, which I remember at the time. Do you remember, like, when you're a chef to party and you used to watch your head chef and just think like, oh, what a knobhead, like, I'm definitely not going to be like that. I'm definitely not going to be like that. So I really try and because that for me, that was only bloody 4 years ago. I'm really trying to remember that and put that into operation as well. But we talk about stuff as well. And I know in the world we live in today, it's a lot more about talking. Not that I'm old, but 10 years ago, you weren't allowed to really talk about what you were thinking or doing or what was going on in your life, you know? Like
10 years ago, I don't think I was encouraged to say anything in yes, chef or no, chef.
Yeah, that was it.
Like, you know,
leave your troubles at the door.
Yeah, occasionally you might try and smile, but you'd be scared about it.
I always used to get shouted at because I'm obviously too smiley and cocky, so I was always getting shouted at. Stop messing around.
Tom, are your team open to that then? Is that something that they're open to? Because, you know, getting people to talk is quite difficult. It's not an easy thing to do, is it? So are they very open to having that kind of relationship with you?
Yeah, definitely, to be honest. I think, yeah, they all do. I'm trying to not tell stories about stuff, but I think, and maybe this is good or bad, I think everyone knows everyone's business. I don't know if that word sounds wrong, but it's in a good way. I think everyone in the team knows each other's business and they're all there for each other. It's really nice to see, because I always say to Adam, like, I don't remember having that, like when I was a chef de party or something, but they just come and talk to me. This morning when I got here, one of the guys came up to me, I was like, you have a good night off? He was like, not really, told me why. I was like, all right, yeah, let's see what we can do. One of the other guys, they just split up with their partner last week and she'd taken it really bad. So yeah, I had to help her move out and stuff. And we just do it as a team, you know, but everyone was there to support her. And she's really thankful for that now. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it is always an open door with me.
I mean, I think you're right. I think it's, you know, if you're kind of running a kitchen now, I think all the stuff that will keep your team growing and by extension help you push on the food, which is fundamentally what we're doing it for.
Yeah,
it's this weird hybrid of sort of like, you know, a mixture of kind of weird parenting and sort of like, you know, therapist and best mate, and like, you know, honestly, I just, you know, I think it's so important. And it is also, there are times where I'm a head chef, Marius, like, we'll take it in turns. Sometimes I'll be sort of like, look, I'm having a pretty hard day.
Yeah.
And I can tell that person's down. And I also think it's going to be down for a reason that's going to make me really anxious.
Yeah.
Or like just totally do my head in. And he'll be like, no, it's okay. I'll do the one-to-one today. But, you know, I think the benefits, you know, because I guess the main difference for me is I can remember like stuff I saw from like head chefs and people above me on the way up that I look back and go, nah, but like I've had the business for 6 years. So really worryingly, a lot of the times I'll look at just me 6 years ago and be like, oh, remember when you did that, you knob?
Yeah.
But, you know, since the last, I don't know, 2 years, we've kind of gone super heavy on everything, you know. I didn't know it was called the Dorchester move, but, you know, we have coffees and chats.
Yeah.
Luckily here it's instant coffee. And you know, we sit around a small fire hoping to find heat. I think, curse, where's my in-house florist? But, you know.
But you're right, it's super important to have that culture, do you know? Like, these guys, they work so much more harder than me. I'm not afraid to admit it. Like, I get here at 8:30, 9 o'clock. They get here at 8. And then, yeah, I still help them. Last night I was scrubbing the floor with them because there was only 5 of us on service because we had a bit of a quiet night. So I was still scrubbing the floor with them and stuff, but I know how hard they work. I can see it. Especially we open on Sundays because we have to do Sunday roast, which I absolutely hate. I love eating it, but I just can't work Sundays. So Adam knows that. So Adam's like, you take Sunday off, yeah? I'll be like, yeah, I'll take Sunday off. I just can't do Sundays. They drive me mad. It's just an abuse. When I first opened, we did 12 to 8 Sunday roast. This one Sunday, we did like 150 covers, and I think I nearly had a mental breakdown on the pass. And Josh, I remember Josh, one of my chef de parties, he was on the meet when we opened and he was just like hugging me. He's like, it's all right. It will be all right. And I was like, I don't know if it will, mate. But anyway, what I was saying, it's so important to have that culture because at the end of the day, I got told by one of my old head chefs, he said, it's the circle of life. You get a chef, they're rubbish. You make them half decent, then they make them good, and then they leave. But and then you start again. But when he told me that, I always remember thinking like, I don't think that's true. I think if you give them more opportunities to grow, do you know what I mean? Like, you promote them, you give them opportunities to put dishes on the menu, you give them something which is theirs, you know? You let them run the pass. I let there's 3 of them, I let them run the pass. I'll be there, I'll be the number 2 on the pass, but I let them run it and call checks on. because then they feel a part of it. You know, I did work for one chef one time who, and this is why I don't want to be like that, is because I used to run the restaurant on a Monday, Tuesday. Then on a Wednesday when he was back, I wasn't allowed to touch the pass or do anything. I was just in the corner, back on like just in the corner. And that used to bug me, you know, because, so on a Monday, Tuesday, it's okay. I can do everything. But when you're here, I'm not allowed to do anything. So I really want to give them the opportunity to grow as well. And I think that's why they've all stuck with me. I think everyone's been here since we opened. I think 4 of them have worked with me for minimum 4 years, or with us. So I think that's my key. Do you know what I mean? I'm nothing without the team. So I keep telling myself that every day. So if I have to make them a coffee and a cheeky shot, if they're looking a bit in the weeds before service, then we do. But yeah, it's a nice culture. It's better to have it like that.
It's been quite nice, really, because it is a common thread, like all the podcasts that I've endured over the last difficult months. Like it is, you know, I think there seems to be an awakening to like this new phase of kitchen culture where, you know, certainly when I went into them, kitchen culture was sort of like, do you like getting burnt and shouted at? Yeah. Would you like to lose all self-confidence? Because we'll help with that. It's
when they used to nick your mise en place. I never understood that.
Just the joy of a sous chef who's watching you go down and doing absolutely nothing to help. Like, I remember just feeling total fucking rage.
Yeah.
It was like, you're here to like support and lead and teach, and you're actually reveling in watching, like, you know, me and the other lads.
But the thing is, what does that prove by someone like sending you down or watching you go down? The only person who's suffering is the most important person, is the customer. That's right. The only person who suffers is the customer. And at the end of the day, it's still your. If someone is like that, you still work for that restaurant. So if someone thinks it's rubbish because that was rubbish, then that's on your CV. It doesn't make sense. It used to blow my mind. The customer is the most important.
It's mad, isn't it? But I think it's what happens when ego gets involved.
Yeah.
As opposed to going, cool, we're here to do the best job we can. We're here to, you know, deliver food to the best of our ability. And you know what? If I've got the resource to help you, I'll help you. And if I don't have the resource to help you, but you still need it, then I guess I'm going to help you anyway, and we'll make the resource, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think, as you say, like whether it's scrubbing the floor or whatever, I think the value to still being willing to go, do you know what? You're in the shit, no probs. Like, let's do it. Like,
yeah.
You know.
But having that culture of no job is big enough for any one of us, including me, is the best culture to have.
Yeah. So culture, team, amazing. Let's talk a bit about food, I guess. So you got rid of all the old stuff. Was there anything you wanted to keep, or was it much like the yellow tablecloths and just it had served its time, it had been amazing in its day, but it needed to go? It must have been tempting, like, right? If I had that much history I'd inherited, I think I'd have been tempted. I think it's very brave.
Well, I read that you said you were not going to be serving any of the old classics when you took over. Is that right?
No, I didn't say that. No, we did.
Are you sure? I think it's on the Dorchester website.
Is it? No, it doesn't. No.
But yeah, Eugene, you wrote a paragraph. It's mostly about McFlurries. I think it's and then let me frame it. In press, quite a lot of press have given you this soundbite saying everything's new, everything's changing.
Yeah.
So firstly, if that's inaccurate, let's put them straight. Lazy journalists.
Yeah, but to be honest, not everything's changed. I'm classically trained, theoretically. All the chefs I've worked with are all the kind of old school boys. So we just put a modern touch on it. I remember I asked them what they thought a grill was, and we got no one knew the answer. We kind of did like a mood board. There was like 10 of them around a table, and none of them could answer it. And I said, so there's no DNA to the restaurant, is it? To me, and it's not like, and it's definitely changing now. But maybe 5 years ago, I would have said a grill was an overcooked chicken rotisserie with like with 2 veg on it. It's overcooked meat with 2 veg. I don't know why, but that's just where my head goes to. I'm definitely wrong, but that's what I think of it. So because there's really amazing grills. You look at the Savoy grill and what they're doing there as well. Matt's really taking it to a next level there. And then the Connaught grill just opened the year after us, and they wanted to do a modern grill. So yeah, I just said to him, let's try and do something different instead of just joining the rest of them, and I call it the Dover Soul crowd. If you want to continue doing the Dover Soul crowd, that's all right, but sadly they might not be around for a long time because they're at a certain age. And it was important for the hotel because when I was speaking to the GM and stuff, we spoke about what people assumed of what the Dorchester was, and he kind of had the same answer as me, which he found scary because he was general manager of the hotel. But I think people feel like, and now I get it because I speak to customers and they're the same as my parents, whatever. They got money, but they're not rich. They're not rich at all, but they come to London. And when we first opened, people were almost scared to come inside the hotel because people perceive that they can't afford it, or it's not for them, or we're going to judge them. That always makes me laugh as well, because most people who work in hospitality always come from a council estate. So I don't even understand why people come from council estates and come to these grand places and think it's posh and luxury and look down on people. So one of my big USBs I wanted to be for the restaurant was to cook for normal people. And that's why we do a £30 lunch menu. That's why we do 3 courses for £30. I think even my a la carte menu is pretty reasonable. It's 75 quid for 4 courses. But
no, I mean, I was, because probably about a month ago, I was in London on a whim. And obviously it didn't work out.
Yeah.
The Saturday afternoon, I was like, I don't know what I want. So I said to her, she's like, I know, let's see that we can sneak in a cheeky table at, the grill at the Dorchester. Obviously we couldn't. But I thought your menu was incredibly reasonable for London.
Yeah.
You can easily spend a hell of a lot more on a hell of a lot less,
Yeah. Especially in 5-star luxury hotels.
10 out of 10, I mean, I think it would still be accessible here. The pricing you have on your menu and the way you've structured it, Brummies would embrace it. And that's a pretty good litmus test for bullshit, because this is not a city known for giving, too much nonsense. So I love the fact that you use the word DNA, because that's a chat we have a lot. A lot of our conversations over lockdown were sort of what's the creative DNA with food? What makes a dish either a dish that does feel authentic to what we're trying to achieve, and what makes a dish that's not?
Yeah.
And there's a grey area between those things as well. What have you figured out? The modern grill, we've moved away from sort of overcooked, chicken and some green beans from 3 weeks ago. They're easy to get through with dentures
from Kenya.
I understand
the green beans from Kenya.
Yeah,
and then boxes.
It's amazing. They must just be really good at growing them, because they're always on the menu.
They're everywhere. I know a lot of chefs say it, but I think the key to hopefully try and be a good chef is just get the best possible ingredients you can and cook them simply.
I agree. I think, I think the longer you do it for, the less concerned you are with your own cleverness, and the more you just want to get something that's really, really good. And I don't know, twist and turn it 2 or 3 times to the past. That's it.
Yeah.
A few little touches. I mean, I do want to ask you, why does your lobster thermidor tart keep giving me the eye?
I'm so sick of that dish.
I need you to keep it on.
Yeah, I know. I have to.
Eat it. Then it can go. I'm not fussed about it beyond them, but
I did take it off when Boris let us open for them 11 days down in London in December, and I had people complaining to me that it was off the menu. So I just realised just gonna have to keep it on. It's rich. It's delicious.
Yeah, thermidors. I mean, the last time I had a really good thermidor, to be fair, I did almost die. It was at Harry's in Venice, and they just kept bringing it. And I didn't know how to say I'm full in Italian, so I just kept going. And I almost died. But it's just I'm all I know how to say is the boy and water. I have nothing to say. I can let the boy and hope they stop.
No, it is a good dish, but it was me and Adam made it I remember the date because we just blagged it. The 2nd of July 2019. It was my second day working here. It was 3 months before opening. And I gave it to the executive chef of the hotel manager, the CEO, the general manager, all came for my first proper food tasting. Basically, I gave it to them and they were just like, this dish is amazing. How long have you had this up your sleeve? I was like, we made it this morning. I think that's it. I think Robert always says to me, that's the day he looked at me and thought, cool, crikey, we've got something good here. Because it was just an absolute, and the first time I did it, Adam said it was crap as well. Adam was like, no, I think it's a bit shit, really. I was like, I think it's really good, actually.
Nice bit of constructive criticism there.
Yeah.
Where now you've kind of got, I mean, it sounds like you've got an amazing team who are pushing and bringing their own ideas to the table. Where do you want to go next with the food? Or do you think part of the DNA of the grill is sort of just, you know, refining and kind of, you know, working to kind of keep evolving it through the year? Or like, do you know what I mean? Like, is there stuff up your sleeve that you're willing to give Staff Canteen an exclusive Friday scoop on?
Well, the thing is, even though we've been open for 2 and a bit years now, actually, we've only been open for 11 months because of the bloody pandemic and all of that. So we've still got a lot. This year is basically our first year we can actually try and push for what we want to push for and do what we want to do. But in the future, we've got a few ideas to maybe do some other stuff as well. The collection's big, they're worldwide, there's a lot of exciting things happening. So no, I'm really happy here, to be honest. They're an amazing company to work for. They really look after us. They're really interested in investing in me and the team as well, which is good. So we're having many talks at the moment, maybe what to do in the future. So no, I think yeah, we'll hang around. But at the moment, just keep concentrating on what we're doing. And it's really nice watching the guys come up with these dishes, because I worked with the reason why I do that as well is because I worked with one of my old head chefs said to me, he'd become a head chef quite young as well. And he said to me one time, Tom, when you become a head chef, you stop learning. And I remember being like, I don't think that's true. So now we just keep pushing, and I let the guys teach me as well. Like, some of these guys have worked in amazing places, like places I never worked at a 2-star or a 3-star. And so they've got so much to give and to work on together. And like, it's really nice at the moment. It makes me really proud, because the boys are given and the girls are giving up dishes, and then they're making it like my kind of style of food, but in line with what they want to do as well. I don't know. I think that's really cool. And I think that's quite unique. So I'm happy I've got that. Just don't want to lose it.
I guess it comes from, like, again, asking those big questions, asking what's our DNA, what the modern grill could be. You then kind of give people the parameters, but then let them succeed, you know, let them work their own terms. Which
they can teach you as well. Like, chefs with egos drive me mad, really.
Oh God, like, you know, like I'm daily like impressed, you know, sort of like, obviously I've got a head chef, and you know, Marius has a lot of freedom, and we'll have conversations about dishes or ideas. I went through a real phase where everything I came to the table with, I was like, I love the idea, but do you think we could do it as like a cannoli? And he'd just be like, stop fucking suggesting everything is a cannoli. But like the amount of times you know, we'll have a chat about an ingredient, and he'll come back and be sort of like, so, you know, I think I want to do this. I'm sort of like, fuck, this is what it's about. Like, hire people who can, you know, surprise you and can bring new stuff to the table.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I just feel so humbled sometimes, and you kind of be like, we had like a, you know, a 10-minute conversation on this, and you've put in like 3 days to work out
to do it,
how to do it, and you've done it in a totally different way from how I'd ever thought of it. But like, you're always better. Like, brilliant. Like,
the perfect one for me was during lockdown. Instead of sitting on the sofa with 8 cans of Stella, Adam just rang me one day, and he was like, we need to, he read the Noma fermentation book, and he was like, I need to get on this. I just want to do it because I've never done it before. And I was like, right, yeah. So now we've got a garum cupboard, we've got misos growing everywhere. And obviously we're going to keep our British DNA of being British food, but we just season we don't even tell customers, we just season our beef tartare with beef garum. We just like put a little drop of chicken garum into our chicken sauce, just right at the end, just for that umami punch. But now, because we're getting more organized, he's made pumpkin seed miso, actually, which we're going to make pumpkin seed ice cream, which is ready next month, but we made that months ago. We've got the brown...
no one's there like, well, that was a quick development.
yeah. But something that I've never done that. I worked in Copenhagen for 2 months when I went out there looking for jobs and stuff, but I never made myself do it, you know. So now Adam was teaching all the team and himself and all the team. So now we have Jan, who's one of the chef de parties, on the garnish, and we call him the head of garums. And did you see the photo from Noma yesterday when they've got like a ton of mushrooms in the kitchen? I just told Jan, I was like, I'm going to get this delivered tomorrow. He was like, he's from Switzerland. He was like, oh man, I'd be so busy tomorrow.
Yes! We've got an accent out of you.
Yeah. I think I'm all right at the Swiss one. The Swiss one's quite nice. I like doing the Swiss one.
It really suits you.
Yeah, does it? Yeah.
Tom, I want to talk about your face when you won National Restaurant Awards Chef to Watch, because I saw that on social and it was pure shock, which I loved. So you've talked about obviously your team, but obviously that was a lovely achievement for you that is backed by them, isn't it? So how was that? It was genuine surprise.
Yeah, it was a proper surprise, to be honest, because I met up with Theo before and we just went for a few beers and he said to me, "You're going to get it." I was like, "Mate, like Andy was in it from behind. You had Santos and Cole in it, and I ate at them restaurants, and I was like, no, these boys are on fire now." Like, I kind of forgot about it. I just told myself it wasn't going to happen. I was more interested to see. I was more proud that the restaurant was in the top 100. Do you know what I mean? For only being open when they invited us to it for only like 6-7 months. I was that was the proud bit. But yeah, I was super shocked. Luckily, Stephen Edwards filmed it. It's the first time I met Stephen Edwards that night.
That was it.
Yeah, I did get in trouble. I did get in trouble though, because I went on stage with my beer, didn't I? The hotel were like, "You can't go on stage with a beer." I was like, "I want to be brand ambassador for Estrella." I think the Estrella guy was like, ran to the stage. He was like, "Turn the bottle around." So he was making me go like that. I was like, no, but it was really nice. It's nice, and it's how the team was so happy as well. You know, I was happy. But like the next day at work, and next day they all took me for a beer. We went to Shepherd's Market down the road, and they were all hugging me, and they were like, "Yeah, it was nice. It was nice." Because the thing is, and Alex will agree, like you have good days and bad days, but Jesus, some days are hard, and you send food sometimes which you're happy with, but you're not completely happy with, you know. So to realize it is for something, and you are on the right path, doesn't matter what path it is, then it's just nice. Just gives you a little pat on the back.
Yeah, I think it's so important. It's important to not underestimate the value of sometimes taking stock and celebrating.
Yeah.
The ability to celebrate without being like, without letting your ego get away, like celebrate the win, I think is really important, because it's really hard. And there are some days that really do knock you for six, and, you know, you get in from work, you just think, I might just fall asleep in the shower.
Yeah.
The water on, you know, wash the teeth.
I got to do that again tomorrow.
So I think celebration is important. I mean, I'm super intrigued because, like, obviously that, you know, that's an amazing award, and, you know, I think it's, as you say, to only get 6 months open. I mean, I've been sending a lot of offers of bribery and kind of you know, sexual favors, to be honest, to try and get on the National Restaurant Awards list. Before it does, but you know, it's never happened. I think I'm kind of cursed. But I suppose a logical knock-on question: do accolades come into the thinking here? Because, like, I guess 5 years ago, I'm with you. If someone said, "Oh, you know, a grill-style restaurant could be punching for sort of accolades and guides and all the rest of it," I'd have been sort of like, for rotisserie chicken, it's not going to happen. But I think the culinary landscape, and indeed what guests want, you know, if you look at even to a point what, you know, Tom Claridge has done up in Manchester, like, there's definitely appetite for sort of like really, really, really well cooked food, really great produce in that kind of, you know, grill setting. So I do think it's kind of where fine dining swinging towards in some ways. Is that something you kind of want, or do you feel like it's a distraction from cooking food for, you know, for normal people, to use your, you know, word?
Yeah.
I don't have the answer for it. Like I've kind of, over the last year, I think I'm sort of, maybe it's self-preservation, but I'm not interested in any of that crap. I just want guests, happy team, and then to make enough, make enough cash that we're sustainable, which I think is pandemic talking.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm kind of like, oh shit, actually, you know, if we ever won, you know, whatever it is, you know, if we ever kind of went further up the ladder on the bits we've already done, I'm actually kind of like, I think it might make me worse at running the business, because I think I'd overthink it. I think it'd be so easy to sort of be like, oh, now we've done this, I don't want to lose it, I don't want to do that. Well, still at the moment, you know, literally we sit down as a team, we kind of go, we'll just do whatever the fuck we want, which is quite freeing.
Yeah, it's free.
How's that all kind of sit for you? Because like, if someone turned around to me and said, like, whenever Michelin do something this year, if someone said to me, oh, Tom's got a star, like, unlike certain choices made over the last couple of years, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. I'd be like, well, yeah, it makes sense. Like, produce cooked well, great sourcing, like flavor focused, right?
Yeah.
Is that something you'd want? Is there something which you think would bring downside? Like, how's that sit for you?
I think it's definitely the dream. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't want it because then I'd be lying and be a dick. But obviously that's my background and all the team's background as well. The major reason why I would want it is for the team, because they all come from 2 stars and 1 stars, and hopefully if we did win it, then they wouldn't leave. Do you know what I mean? But firstly comes the team. Well, firstly comes the customer. We have regulars from the Westbury who now come here. We have regulars who I've got from the hotel now, and some of them come 2 times a week, and we're only open 5 days. Like, we have regulars all the time. Every single service we have a regular. That's the most important. Like, it doesn't matter about accolades. Your customers coming in, keep coming in, returning business, paying the full bill, like being happy, being on that journey with us. And then it's the team, keeping the team happy, front of house, back of house. It's a lot of people to manage, We've got a team of 40 to look after. And then yeah, if the accolades come, they come. But I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I reckon 2 years ago I would have been like, that's what I want, that's the dream, 3 rosettes and a star. But actually since lockdown, I think I've realized I think I've taken a step back and think there's actually more to life. I'm not going to break my balls over it. I know they've been in a few times. I spot them when they come in. They know that I know that they're there. So whatever, if they think it's not good enough, then it's not good enough. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing else I can do. I'm not going to go and do something stupid. I'll just carry on.
I don't even know if these days it's about being good enough. I think it's, we had a chat on one of the other podcasts, and I think it's so important that they exist as a point of celebration.
Yeah,
and bring people together. But I think the notion that you can fundamentally categorize a subjective experience into some sort of ordered list on the basis of maybe half a dozen visits a year, I'm kind of like, I feel there's a limit to the rest of it. Like, I mean, again, I need a bit more cash off Dougie, so I'll say it. Like the fact that Siler doesn't have a star. The fact that Siler doesn't have a star, like Siler wipes the floor with plenty of sort of, to be fair, with plenty of 2 stars in London that I've been lucky enough to eat at, and that's not to deride their restaurants.
Yeah.
But I accept that I'm coming that as a chef. I'm coming at that with a really kind of geeky interest in the mechanics of how you've achieved that flavor. Maybe that's not their criteria, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I don't think there's anything to be good enough. I think it's it's 1,000,001 different factors, isn't it?
Yeah, but the worst thing about it all, and that's I think what makes them so amazing, especially just Michelin, is because you never know, you'll never get an answer. Do you know what I mean? I think that secretive thing they have is what makes us all talk about it all the time. That's kind of their best.
Do you know what? They are literally like the sexy cool kids at school. It won't really talk to you or tell you what's going on. But
does she fancy me? Does she not fancy me? No, she definitely doesn't.
The analogy for that mysterious, because it sounds like you had a similar experience. Like there was no, she didn't.
He didn't. I'm not as good as footballer as all the other kids.
Rejected for a megaphone at school once. That was mega rough.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, like a girl literally said, "I'm sorry, I don't fancy you," through a megaphone at an event.
That's ruthless.
That was when I thought, well, I guess I'll just become a goth at this point and give up on colour and happiness.
Kids are cruel, aren't they?
I wish Michelin did that. Just stand up. This sauce was good. Bit more seasoning on the beef.
But that's the point, isn't it? That's what makes them so amazing, But obviously, it is a legendary guide, and what they've done for the industry is great. But yeah, I think since COVID, there's a lot more to life, isn't there? Looking after each other and being human is more important.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more with that. I think that's, I think a lot of us are kind of on that path of like, yeah, wicked, like it's a cherry on the cake.
Yeah.
But as you say, like get the house in order. If you've got really happy guests and a team, you genuinely feel loved and supported, like, whilst there's no, there's no thing you can hold tangibly to be like, look at this.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of manifest, it's self-evident. I'm backing you for anyway this year. Like, I've given it back,
guys.
I'm backing you, and I'm sure Estrella will do the same.
Be nice, won't it? I fancy a holiday in Spain.
Yeah, I sure hope no one invites Tom to Spain to visit the Estrella plant. That would be awkward.
Oh, well, I think that is a perfect place to finish, not with your attempt to get with
a free holiday.
No, but saying obviously there is more to life than accolades, but they are amazing when they come, and to allow people to celebrate as well. So thank you both very much. Tom, it's been an absolute pleasure. I love chatting with you anyway. So it's been great to have you. Alex, this is it. You don't get to see my lovely face anymore.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been a ride. Thanks to Tom, and indeed all the other wonderfully eclectic and interesting folks doing really cool things.
Thank you very much, Tom, and thanks,
Cheers,
Alex.
guys.
And I'll speak to you soon.
See you soon. Cheers.